and very challenging technologically speaking. And the team was composed of people from 9 or 10 different countries. So you can imagine in the meetings every different accent.
Yeah, completely.
And when it came the turn of the Englishmen to speak, someone raised the hand and said, "Please, don't you mind speaking a bit slower because you speak English too good."
Right, okay. Your English is too good.
to you.
An enormous welcome to the Power Talks. Firstly, thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for giving me your time from my heart. It's really, really lovely to have you here. So this is my new podcast, my first podcast, and we are going to examine what it is that prevents women from being able to access and express their personal power, especially women who speak English as their second language or their third or their fourth, right? As that is absolutely, definitely an extra barrier. So I have some amazing guests in this series, and I cannot wait to introduce you to them. My third interview is with the very lovely Ana Galvez. Ana is an experienced executive in multinational companies, entrepreneurship and startups. She works with teams and establishes alliances to leverage digital technologies to make business grow. With an engineering Ph.D. in energy and environmental technologies, Ana has a relentless pursuit of knowledge. Her approach centres on inspiring individuals to tackle ambitious challenges, fostering teamwork and nurturing the potential of each team member. By building lasting relationships of trust with clients and partners, she creates a solid foundation for success. Ana actively engages in various forums dedicated to sustainability and technology, and she collaborates as an advisor to several startups supporting their growth. It was a real pleasure to talk to Ana. I think she's just an adorable human and a woman with a real mission. We talked about the importance of preparation. We talked about evolving as a communicator. Sorry about the dog. I don't know if you can hear that. And we talked about the evolution of environments and how they have become more diverse and inclusive. So we talk about learning from who you admire and not being afraid to ask for advice. We also talk about where confidence comes from and thinking about the bigger picture. Loads of really good stuff. Anyway, I hope you really enjoy our conversation. Good morning, Ana.
Good morning, Sarah.
Thanks, firstly, so much for being here with me today.
It's a pleasure for me
I really appreciate it. Brilliant.
to be
All right.
part of your brilliant project.
Oh, thank you. Nice. Okay, so my questions this morning are based around communication, communicating as a woman and also communicating as a woman in English when it's your second language, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when your personal experience, when you are speaking English in professional environments, how do you think that it affects the way that you communicate? Like, what happens there?
Well, of course, it is not the same at all as it is in Spanish.
Okay.
And what it requires is more preparation.
Okay.
And you can take it as a positive or negative thing. And also, I am always a bit afraid that I cannot make spontaneous jokes and things like that.
Yes.
And for me, the use of the more informal language, according to the situation, is what makes it more difficult for me when I am speaking English.
Yeah. Okay. So does it? You kind of you have to simplify yourself a little bit, no?
Right. And I feel that I cannot be as fresh as I can be in
Yeah,
Spanish,
yeah.
and especially in the informal aspects of the language and the communication.
Yes, yeah. So then it's difficult to show your full self,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yes.
all of you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So
yeah.
you limit it a bit.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think it's very normal. I think it's a very normal thing. Um, I'm interested as well in how we, as women especially, but women who speak English as their second language, how does that affect like transmitting authority? No, like if you want to transmit your expertise and your authority in a situation.
Okay, in that sense, I don't see much difference in being a woman or a man or whatever. And indeed, I can share with you an anecdote.
Please do.
I used to participate along many years in a summit organized by a partner of us. It was called Smart Signals.
Okay.
It was one of the pioneers in artificial intelligence application in the power industry and so. And they used to organize a huge event for such a small company in that time. And one of these summits, the leader of the summit at the end made a summary and mentioned anecdotes and so, and spoke about my charming Spanish accent. And
Oh,
I was very offended by that, because
okay, okay.
because I took it as a, oh, she speaks with a terrible Spanish accent and so. But then when I heard Sam Grayton speaking about the lovely Spanish accent, I said to myself that I owed him.
An apology, to owe someone an apology. We couldn't we couldn't remember the word here, but it's to owe someone an apology.
Because
Right.
I was
Okay.
very offended, and I felt very offended on that moment. And I am sure that he was saying it for as a compliment. So,
Okay.
um,
So Sam Grattan is an English for business purposes trainer, and he has a really, really good video on what the world thinks of the Spanish accent. I'll add the link here so you can watch it.
the conclusion is that maybe is a bit a loss of confidence, of self-confidence,
Yeah. Okay.
behind what I have mentioned before.
Yes. Yeah. When was that? How long ago was that?
I don't know, 15 years ago or something
Okay.
like that.
Do you think you would feel the same now? Or
No, no, because I know what I know.
yeah, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because I think, yeah, sometimes we don't, we are not comfortable with being different in some way. So if
Yes.
somebody
Yes.
notices, that's a different accent or there's something different there, we're not 100% comfortable with that. But it's actually very nice, I think. So, that everybody is,
Yes.
there is a difference
Right.
to
Right.
people. And yeah.
Right.
And it should be something that we celebrate, no? That we celebrate different.
Right. Oh, and indeed, this reminds me about an anecdote at the very early beginning of my career.
Tell
I
me.
started working in a project, an international European project that was it was the first combined cycle power plant built in Spain, a huge project with coal gasification integrated with the combined cycle, and very challenging technologically speaking. And the team was composed of people from 9 or 10 different countries. So you can imagine in the meetings every different accent.
Yeah, completely.
And when it came the turn of the Englishmen to speak, someone raised the hand and said, please, don't you mind speaking a bit slower because you speak English too good.
Right, okay. Your English is too good.
So your English is too good, yeah. And it was very funny and well, it
That's
made
awesome.
everything relaxing for everybody.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All the professionals that there could speak English perfectly, but it was an icebreaker, and I am sure that made it much easier for many of us.
Yeah, no, exactly. It releases the tension, because I
Yes.
think that's something that happens, like when we have to go into a place and we know that we're going to have to speak in English or listen in English, there's a tension, right? That people feel a bit more kind of stressed. And this can have a huge effect on communication, because if you're feeling stressed, you're feeling tense, it's very difficult to listen well or to express yourself well. No,
that's
so
true.
it's nice. It's
That's
great
true.
that to bring down the level, to humanize the situation,
right,
basically.
right,
You know,
right.
it's just to
Right.
humanize it. Yeah.
Yes, it is easy to transmit your message, your technical message, and so on, but it is not so easy to transmit all the personal pictures, no?
Yes, yeah, and I understand what you mean. That's interesting I'm it's nice that I'm happy to hear that you feel very comfortable expressing yourself fully in that professional way, because I've worked with a lot of women who work in very male environments.
Okay.
And I have heard many times that in a very male environment, that women are often not listened to very close. You know, they're not paid very much attention to. They can find that it's that they are not heard, you know, in the
Yeah,
same way.
I cannot say that.
Right.
Probably at the earlier stages of the career, I needed to make me loud and to take the space to give back opinions, especially under discussions or negotiations.
Yeah.
But it is something that I haven't experienced for long.
For a long time. That's amazing. That's incredible. I think that's a real testament to the environment that you work in. That's
Yes.
fantastic. But I guess you helped create that environment, no?
Who knows? Maybe, maybe, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
do you think that you have changed over the years and you feel more confident with yourself? Or do you think that environments have evolved, or both? Like what?
I think it is both.
Right.
On my side, of course, I have evolved a lot, both in the communication and in maturity that gives you more self-confidence. So that is for sure. If I have to tell you something that I have changed in the way of expressing myself in English, could be that at the beginning, I used to make almost the same gestures, so the non-verbal language as in Spanish, and then I tended to reduce it.
Okay.
And
Okay. So what do you mean? Like you'd use your
Yes, more
body more,
hands
right? Yeah. Okay.
movings and face movements and these
Okay.
things, and I think that I am reducing it at the moment. It's not so
Okay.
I don't know, expressive, no?
Yes. Yeah.
And out of that, I think that also the, let's say, the world or the professional environment is changing and is embracing the diversity much more than they used to do in the past.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Yes, of course.
Fine. Yeah. 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 All
Yes.
right. So do you want to, can you think about a situation that you would like, that you could share with us, that you learned something from because of maybe some kind of mistake that you made, or some a problematic thing? Something that you've learned over the years, Anna, that
Okay.
you can share with the listeners.
Okay. Yes. I think is that first, that preparation helps a lot when
Preparation.
you
Yeah.
don't feel, yes, yes. And indeed, I have a very nice story to tell there. And it is about a colleague of mine, much older than me and seasoned professional. And there was a critical time at his company. He was a vice president in that time and one of the leaders of the company. And he made an impressive presentation, almost without slides. And he was speaking in front of many different stakeholders, his colleagues, his customers, a company that was going to acquire his company in a couple of weeks, the market. So it was a very open event, and he made an impressive speech, rather short but impressive. And I asked him, and I told him, please, I know that it's nonsense that you share your slides, but I would love to keep them because it has been such an impressive speech, and you have spoken very well to all the different stakeholders in the auditorium, and you have sent messages to all of them and positive messages in different times, and everything with a humor point. And he said, okay, don't worry, I sent them to you. But what he sent to me, he sent me the slides, but it's nothing. But he sent me his preparation sheet written in hand, where he had all the messages he wanted to transmit, the jokes, the people he wanted to mention, the thanks, everything. He had work, everything. You could thought when you listened to him that he was speaking on the spot, but he had prepared it so thoroughly.
Yeah.
But the sum of the preparation and the fresh scenification was a huge learning for me in the next presentations I made.
Yeah. I think, I mean, this preparation, I think, is,
yes,
it's, you have to have it, and I mean, presenting is a very specific skill, right? And because you have to get that balance of looking and making it feel like it's spontaneous and fresh, but really behind that, when it's a good presentation, it is scripted. Every word has a purpose there. And yes,
okay.
Okay.
And you realize it. Yes, but you couldn't notice it when
He was
listening to
doing
him.
it. That's
Or maybe I was too naive at that moment, but
right. Okay, but that, But that's the skill, I think,
Yes.
of good public speakers. They
Yes.
have scripts.
And the third learning is that when you ask, so learn from whom you admire, and don't be afraid of asking
Yeah.
for
Okay.
the advice, or for somebody to share his
Yeah.
or her experience. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good. What personal work do you think that people can do to cultivate their own confidence? Like that, how do you think it for you have, where has your confidence come from, Anna?
Well,
That's the question.
my confidence, I think that comes, I have to thank my parents very much,
Right, okay, so it's
because
okay,
I
okay,
started learning English at school when I was 3. By
okay.
that time, it was not so usual, so I
Mm,
am
mm,
very, very thankful for that.
mm, mm,
And
mm, mm.
my mother, when I was a teenager, said that I dreamed in English. I don't think so. I probably was telling things that she couldn't understand. But it is true that learning from an early age,
Yes,
I think it has helped
helps you a
me
lot. Yes, yeah,
very, very much. Yes.
yes, yeah.
And so, if you don't have the lack of learning as a child,
Mm,
then my recommendation is to listen and speak and read as much as possible in English.
mm,
So,
mm,
TV, of course, always in English,
mm,
with subtitles in English.
mm, mm.
And my recommendation to improve all your speaking is to get you introduced in the film, and talk to the figures in the film, or so be part of it. Make the comments in English as well,
That's
and if you are on yourself, don't worry, you
so,
speak in English,
brilliant.
and even repeat phrases
Yes, yeah,
that they say in the films, and
yeah,
so, and they catch your attention.
yeah,
um, Repeat them, and
yeah.
maybe I am thinking of this right on the spot, because I haven't done that, but maybe you can write one sentence per film, and
Yeah, 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 yeah,
repeat it loud and on your head, and you
yeah,
are starting to acquire expressions.
yes,
And
yeah,
so, speak and speak, and don't be afraid of doing it. And in the past, when I was young, it was not so easy finding English speaking people, but I made a lot of interchange. I
oh,
met
okay,
people
okay,
that was in Madrid for studies or
yes,
whatever,
yeah,
and we met once a week, and we shared a Coke and
mhm.
spoke half the time in Spanish, half the time in English.
This is great.
And it was very nice also, yes, and it
Mm,
gives you a lot of confidence, and you
mm,
learn a
mm.
lot, because you don't learn grammar, of course, but you are in a safe
Yeah,
environment where you can use what you have learned, and
yeah,
see
that's
how it works.
yeah.
So,
And I think you need to find your voice. You need to find your
yes,
identity in the second
right,
language, right?
right.
Like you need to
So,
know who
yes,
you are in that
yeah,
second language.
right. So
And
you
those kind of
can.
opportunities help with that.
Yes, yes, you
Mm,
need to have a dry runs, and
yeah,
this helps a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, absolutely.
And the second, if you are in front of a meeting or a presentation or whatever, do a dry run with anybody that you can engage. Whatever it is, your colleague, your boss, your husband, whatever, your children, but make a dry run to gain confidence.
Yeah. What I do do a lot with my clients is I get them to imagine themselves doing it, right? Before they go to give the presentation, like imagine themselves doing it brilliantly, perfectly.
Yes.
So that you can start to feel, okay, how will I stand if I can do this brilliantly? How do I stand? What does it feel like in my body? What do I kind of transmit that's not just the words? No, like how do I hold myself?
Of course.
If you can start to imagine yourself doing it, you start to create the possibilities in your mind of a successful presentation. Yeah,
of course,
this is really powerful. This is a really powerful technique, I think.
Yes. And you have added a very relevant step to it. And it applies to English and to anything in life.
Anything, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's it's very powerful. Yeah, great.
But if I have to say something to somebody that is a bit afraid or shy of speaking in English,
please share. Yes.
Think of any of the English speaking people. I'm sorry, Sarah.
No.
But when you
go ahead.
When you listen them speaking Spanish, you have to lose every shyness that you can have speaking in English.
Anna, I think this is a really, really important point. It's so important. Most English people, they don't speak a second language, right? So the people that make all the effort are the people who are speaking English as their second language. And it's a huge that makes people that are speaking English as their second language 1,000 times more capable than people who don't speak a second language, and it should be recognized. And yes, I mean, I have a very strong accent when I speak Spanish. I make lots of mistakes, and I'm okay with that. Like it's okay.
No, but
because I think I can transmit what I want to say, and that's for me is the most important thing with any communication. Like if you can transmit the essence and the meaning of what you are trying to show and share with people, that for me is what communication is about. The form is not so important. It really isn't. But you're right. Like most people who speak Spanish, for example, or French or Italian or whatever, most English people don't even speak a second language. So that's a very good point. It's really good to remember that. By being able to speak in a second language, you're already more capable than somebody who doesn't.
And it is you who is doing the effort to share the message or the whatever you are sharing.
This is the other thing that I think is enormous, that we have to, one of the things that I hope that will happen with this podcast is that also native speakers will listen to it, right? And I want native speakers to understand that, like the person in the room, the person in the interaction that's making all the effort is the person who speaks English as their second language. So what can we do to help? Right? Like how can we speak more slowly? Can we not use phrasal verbs?
Right.
No. Can we make more of an effort to to help
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that, what advice would you give to native speakers then? That just be more slow. Slow down.
To be patient, to
Right. Okay.
ask if they don't understand something or they
Yeah. Okay.
miss
Ask for
any
clarification.
details
Yeah.
on the basic message,
Yeah.
and to recognize and see the effort that the other person is doing
Yeah.
additional to the specific,
Yeah.
especially in the professional environment,
Yeah.
behind the professional message or aspects, he or she is doing an extra effort to communicate it in a second language.
Yeah. Yeah. I just remembered one thing actually that I would like to share with you. When I first came to Barcelona years ago and I started speaking Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
and in the beginning, I mean, I was an adult, so I didn't learn as a child.
Uh-huh.
I think as an adult, when you're learning as an adult, you are slightly more neurotic. Like you have, but as a child, you make mistakes and you don't really care. But as an adult, you're more aware and concerned about those kind of things. And I remember feeling in the very beginning that I felt very stupid, right? Like I was feeling like, oh, I feel stupid, and that people would be looking at me, and I would feel from them that they think I'm stupid, right?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I used to feel. But I remember
You feel
I
that,
felt
but
that.
I
I
don't
felt
think
that.
that the people thought that.
Maybe yes, maybe no. But I remember one of my friends said to me, even if they do think you are stupid, it doesn't matter because you're learning. You need to continue, take every opportunity that you can, and it's their problem, right? Like if there's somebody that does think, oh, if somebody judges me, it's their problem. It's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on them, you know.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is very true.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Very
remember
true.
that. That's it was a good moment because it was a good moment for me because it made me go, yes, right. Just you, Sarah, see you carry on. Don't worry.
Yes.
Anybody
Yes.
else, you know?
And you have to have in mind the long term. So maybe
Exactly.
today you're making a lot of mistakes and bad
Exactly.
accent and whatever, but if
Yeah.
you don't start with that, you will
Yeah.
never get to the position you want to get.
Exactly. Think long term. I like that.
Yes,
Big
yes.
picture, your whole life. Yeah, I like it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
brilliant. All right, cool.
Great.
That was lovely.
Really,
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed very much
Nice.
sharing time with you. It is always the same.
Thank
And
you. The
I
same.
hope that anyone who listens to this learns something and
They will.
and overall is encouraged to learn and speak loud.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Anna. Thank you so much. All right.
You're very
And
welcome. Thank you
I'll see
for
you very
involving
soon.
me.
So, what did you think? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I also hope that if English is your second language or your third or your fourth, I really hope that this inspired you to be more vocal in English. You know, the world really needs you. Thank you again for listening. I really appreciate having you here. I think these conversations deserve to have as much visibility as possible, and you can really help with that by liking and subscribing. This is that moment. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'm sending you all a big power-filled hug. I hope you can feel that.